So it's much like the other very famous trilogy turned major motion picture series,
which is actually 4 books, right?
Which is 4 books, is in first person, present tense, told from the perspective of a teenage girl.
It's a switch from book to book.
Did you read the Twilight books?
But I guess Twilight switches, right?
Okay, so alright, he hadn't thought of Kelly or 2.0 in days. He dropped to his knees and read. He had just left the facility for the first time. He dropped to his knees and read.
Wait, so he's like in there fixing computers for days?
He's trying to keep the internet up because that's the only thing that matters. You know, that's the only, people are going to need that information and stuff like that after this.
The root server must survive.
even though everything's falling, infrastructure is going to decay. I mean, it's just so implausible that anybody after something like this would think, yeah, we can keep the gaming centers going for
years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have all the fuel that we need to keep it running, and it's ridiculous. Alright, everything new is dead. Okay, I'm just going to skip this. Just to block more, Van said, and slip Felix's arm around his shoulder and run along. Thank you, Dan. I'm sorry. No sweat. You need a shower fast, real fast. And take it. The scoppers had a metal security gate that had been torn away from the front of the gate with a ruby snatch. Felix and Dan squeezed through the gap and stepped into a dim drugstore. A few of the displays were knocked over, but rather than that, it looked okay.
Rather than that, does it really say that?
Yeah. By the cash registers, Felix spotted the racks of candy bars at the same instant that Dan saw them, and he hurried over and grabbed a handful of each, stuffing their faces. You two eaten like pigs. They whirled around at the sound of the woman's voice. She was holding a fire axe that was nearly as big as she was. She wore a lab coat and comfortable shoes.
Now we're getting good.
You take what you need and go, okay? No sense in there being any trouble. Her chin was pointy and her eyes were sharp. That's
pretty. That's hot.
She's
pointy. What are you talking about? He's a great writer.
She looks like. I just want to get this. Just another couple of. She looked at me in her 40s. She looked nothing like Kelly, which was good. Felix felt like running and giving her a hug as it was. Another person alive. Are you a doctor? Felix said. She was wearing scrubs under the coat style. You going to go? And she brandished the axe. Felix held his hands up. Seriously, are you a doctor or a pharmacist? I used to be an RN 10 years ago. I'm mostly a web designer. You're shitting me, Felix said. Haven't you ever met a girl who knows computers? Actually, a friend of mine who runs Google's data centers ago. A woman, I mean. You're shitting me, she said. A woman
singular?
Yeah. And you realize that they're saying you're shitting me over and over again. A woman ran Google's data center?
Google's data center.
Runs, Felix said. It's still online. NFW, she said. She let her axe lower. Wait, have you got any cortisone cream?
What?
I'm just gonna stop right there. Thank you. I mean, that's really what I had to suffer through.
God?
How long is that story?
It's the longest one in the book by far. It's
a novelette.
It's a novelette.
It's
Yeah,
it's the centerpiece.
Well, let's just... Few humans believed in them.
This is another literary trend I don't like, by the way. I'd like you to know before you really get too excited.
A ball in your mouth. Fact number 2. Abraham Lincoln was one of the gifted vampire hunters of his day and kept a secret journal about his lifelong war against them. Fact number 3. Rumors of the journal's existence have long been a favorite topic among historians, and Lincoln biographers most dismissed as a myth.
You're reading Starkers in the inside.
I present to you
You're totally reading
tonight.
inside that book. That's pretty good.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, a true story as revealed
time coming
by Seth Graham-Smith, who also brought us Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which I have not read, but I assume it is an accurate retelling of Pride and Prejudice, that the editors of Pride and Prejudice cut out the truth about the zombie epidemic.
Are you still reading from the back? Sorry.
I've never been.
No.
This is the back.
Would you like to see the back of the book, Lord Cumby? Or is it beheaded vampire?
Presumably.
The premise of this...
Okay.
That's a great review.
The premise of this piece of truth is that Abraham Lincoln's mother was killed by a vampire.
That's Mary Todd? No, that was his wife. Sorry.
Mary Todd was his second wife.
Oh, sorry.
was most definitely not killed by a vampire.
Was his first wife a vampire?
She was crazy as shit because 7 of her children were killed by vampires. I believe maybe he was killed as a brother. She was killed by a vampire.
Yes. Yes.
You was killed by a vampire?
She actually got syphilis because Abe had it.
Oh, Abe.
Maybe. You fucking dudes. What? No, that's not true.
Yeah, of all the secrets about Abe Lincoln, the fact that he was a vampire hunter is far from the scandalous.
Is John Wilkes Booth in this book?
Did you wear that shirt specifically for this?
Yes.
Bought this shirt specifically for this.
Oh, whoa.
Dude, this is just a depiction of Abraham Lincoln fighting some vampire bears.
Oh, those bad
Sweet t-shirt form.
How are they vampire bears?
How are they
These
not
big
vampires?
bears.
Are there
No, they're
vampire
Those
bears?
are vampire bears.
Are there
You see
vampire
their
bears?
fangs?
It's just bears. Bears have
yes.
There's
fangs.
vampire
Do you think they wear bears,
vampire
maybe?
bears.
Maybe they're werebears.
There's vampire bears.
Sophie's the in-house expert.
Banicula. Have you ever heard of
Like
Banicula?
there are werebears.
It's like Barricula. You know?
I know.
Chat, is it like that movie?
There's no Banicula movie yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah? You feel me?
I don't know. Maybe you'll have to So, yes, establishing that Abraham Lincoln's mother killed by a vampire when he was just a small boy sets him down a path in his life to become one of the world's greatest vampire hunters. Where along the way he meets a Edgar Allan Poe, also a knower of vampire things, and the first person he can confide in about the vampire world that he lives in. The book really unveils a lot of things I did not know about vamp history. For instance, here you can see some vampires outside of a slave auction house. Well, in fact, slavery propagated by vampires. And Lincoln hates vampires. Thus, why Abraham Lincoln declares the Emancipation Proclamation to cut off the vampire food source. Wholeheartedly endorse readings.
Why did it take so long?
Open my mind to the reality that I never it.
Why did it take you so long to read this book?
Because we didn't have a fucking meeting for 6 months, jackass.
That's not true
With
at
this
all.
totally sweet
Yeah,
book
there was
form.
some
I think
meetings.
I was gone for a couple meetings and I couldn't finish it.
So where does the screw-on head come into play here?
I'm sorry, you're talking about the beheaded vampire?
No, screw-on head, the secret agent that worked for Abraham Lincoln.
What the fuck is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about.
Comics,
cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Kind of what? Oh, yeah.
It was a Mike Magnolia.
Oh, no, yeah, Patton Oswalt was the voice for the cartoon.
And there was
So-
a cartoon.
What about Springfield, dude?
Yeah.
Alright.
Put it
I'm
inside
kind of
out and
very
then put it in the
bizarre.
other one.
Random page.
Fairy
That's totally
and
what this
fairy,
is,
it's
right?
not
And
sex
lords.
is okay.
My
No,
lords.
it's fair. It's not
Alright.
fair.
My lord.
The treaty demanded only that I share flesh. Sharing true flesh is more valuable among the goblins than sex. Gabriel's hounds take
Fucking
me.
like Bowie.
Yes, we value flesh, but what's a little bite without a little poke? Stick your teeth and dick into flesh, married girl, that's the ticket. Kiddo shirts
That
my
is the
bed,
ticket. It's
crying,
like Leprechaun.
stays with me most of the time, touching me. He seems to need to touch me. Is the touch of your skin was all he had. He dissolved into high goblin again, which goblins were really good. And it's considered. Anyway,